Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Elliot Webber, and in today's video it's something very different, something that I've never actually done before. Today I'm going to be sort of retelling something that has happened many years ago. Today I'm going to be talking about the time a Hollywood actor came to the BTCC. So let's get straight into this. Now, of course, whilst the BTCC over the past 20 years hasn't really reached its mainstream success that it did in the Super Touring era, there have been no short of sort of celebrity appearances that have happened in the BTCC. Of course, we know Nigel Mansell is arguably one of the biggest stars to ever set foot in the BTCC, racing at the Toga Shootout in 1993, where he had that, of course, that horrific crash with a certain Tiffany Dell. Of course, Damon Hill has made appearances in BTCC. David Coulthard, I believe, way before his Formula One career, made an appearance in BTCC, though I'm not too sure about that one. Of course, most recently, Kelvin Fletcher, a soap actor, raced in the BTCC in 2016. And of course, yeah, we have seen many other celebrity actors in motorsport. Of course, Michael Fassbender, the X-Men actor and of course star of many other movies, is currently working up on his way to Le Mans. We've seen Rowan Atkinson, also known as Mr. Bean or Johnny English, make appearances in sort of heritage racing, also racing at Goodwood last year, I think. So yeah, no doubt that we've definitely seen some celebrities come and go in motorsport and even in the BTCC, but I don't think at the time, I'm pretty sure this one was a pretty big star. Today I'm going to be telling you the story of when Steve McQueen raced in the BTCC. So once again, there's your background. Now let's fully get into the story of Steve McQueen. Now, we have to go back all the way to 1961, where this one-off outing happened. Of course, Steve McQueen at the time was a star of such movies such as The Great St. Louis Robbery. I believe he just did The Magnificent Seven, and also upon my research actually did a movie called The Honeymoon Machine in 1961, a few months before his BTCC outing. And of course we have to look back on the BTCC season, or back then the British Saloon Car Championship. It was dominated by Sir John Whitmore, may he rest in peace. Sir John Whitmore, of course, one of the many legends of BTCC, one of the older legends, you could say, becoming the fourth different BTCC champion. This would be also the start of the mini takeover, as it were. Of course, in the late 50s, we had the likes of Jack Sears, Tommy Sopwith and whatnot racing. But also in the early 60s, it was the start of course, Lotus coming in. Jaguar as well were dominating in the early 60s. Not only that, we had some F1 stars come over. Graham Hill actually raced in the BTCC in 1961. I believe Bruce McLaren as well made some outings in BTCC. And of course, this was a few years before Jim Clark would go on to win the 1964, I believe, or was it 1963? I think it was 63 or 64, but one of the years, it was just a few years before Jim Clark would come over to the BTCC and take his BTCC title. So yeah, it was the end of 1961, so John Whitmore had already wrapped up the championship a few races prior. I believe he wrapped it up at Snetterton, I believe. Again, I'll have to do some research, but I do believe Sir John Whitmore had already wrapped up the championship, and John basically already somehow knew Steve McQueen. I'm not too sure how those two came into being friends. I'm not too sure, but yeah, Sir John Whitmore went up to Steve McQueen and was like, "Do you want to take part in the final race at Brands Hatch?" And that's exactly what happened. I'm not too sure where Steve McQueen actually qualified, but he took over Sir John Whitmore's Mini and finished third at Brands Hatch. Now, of course, this could be a potential fact that the Mini at the time was arguably the best car to have it in the British Saloon Car Championship, but I certainly think that Steve McQueen was a fairly decent driver. As doing some research for this, move forward a little bit, Steve McQueen would actually go on to win the 1970 12 Hours of Sebring. So Steve McQueen certainly definitely wasn't a bad peddler. I believe also as well, he was one of the first ever owners of the Jaguar E-Type in the early 60s, of course, one of the best Jaguars ever made. So yeah, no doubt Steve McQueen was definitely a car lover, and also, as we can tell, definitely a race lover. But unfortunately, that would be his only BTCC appearance. But as I've mentioned, Steve McQueen would go on to also have successes elsewhere, like I say, winning the 12 Hours of Sebring. And yeah, that is pretty much it, guys. A short story telling you of how Steve McQueen showed up one day and was a BTCC driver. Of course, after BTCC, he would go on to do other phenomenal movies in the 60s, and of course would be nominated for multiple Golden Globes. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Let me know what you thought. What was your reaction when you first heard about Steve McQueen joining the BTCC? And well, if you were alive back then, I really hope I've given you some great memories. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Of course, if you're new around here, be sure to like this video, share with your mates as well, because it of course does help my channel grow. And of course, press that subscribe button, because as you all know by now, we are firmly on the road to not 200. We are firmly on the road to 300 subscribers. Of course, a few weeks ago, we finally hit 200 subscribers. So big thanks to that. Also, at this point, making of this video, BTCC have announced their official launch date. Unfortunately, I won't be at the season launch as it's at Donington Park, and that is a little bit too far from me, but who knows, maybe one day I'll go to Donington Park. But I certainly plan on being at Snetterton for the TCR UK season launch, which is at the end of March. So let me know if you plan on going to any of the season launches, whether it be BTCC or TCR. I plan on being, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm not too sure yet, but hopefully planning on being at one of the test days at Brands Hatch for BTCC. Again, it's all up in the air at this point. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.